Most men over 40 think the worst thing they do to their testosterone happens at the gym, or late at night, or in some bad habit they already feel guilty about. But the real damage often happens before 8 in the morning, while you're standing in your own kitchen, feeling like you're doing something healthy. That bowl of cereal, that heart-smart granola, that glass of orange juice, and the toast with jam, that combination may be quietly draining the very hormone you're trying to protect. And here's the part I want you to stick around for, because near the end of this video, I'm going to give you the exact opposite plate, the breakfast that can actually work with your hormones instead of against them. Stay with me, because if you only change one meal a day, this is the one that gives you the most leverage. I'm not a doctor, and this isn't medical advice. I'm a men's health educator, and I spend my days reading the research and translating it into plain English for guys like you and me, men who don't want to feel tired by 2 in the afternoon, who want their strength back, who want to feel like themselves again. So let me explain what's really going on at breakfast, and why it matters more than almost anything else you'll do today. Let's start with the mistake. The classic Western breakfast is built almost entirely around fast sugar and refined carbohydrate. Cereal, toast, pastries, sweetened yogurt, juice, the flavored coffee with 3 pumps of syrup. On paper, it feels light and harmless. In your bloodstream, it's a flood. Within minutes of eating that kind of meal, your blood sugar spikes hard, and your body answers that spike by releasing a wave of insulin to bring it back down. Insulin isn't evil, you need it. But when you train your body to ride these big sugar surges meal after meal, day after day, year after year, something starts to go wrong under the hood. Your cells slowly stop listening to insulin the way they used to. That's the road toward what's often called insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is strongly linked, in study after study, with lower testosterone in men. Here's a way to picture it. Think of insulin as a guy knocking on the door of your cells, asking them to let the sugar in. When you're young and metabolically healthy, one polite knock and the door opens. But after years of sugar floods, your cells get hard of hearing. So your body sends the guy back to knock louder and louder, and eventually he's pounding on the door just to get the same job done. Now you've got chronically high insulin circulating, and that high insulin, high sugar environment is exactly the kind of internal climate where testosterone tends to fall and belly fat tends to rise. And that belly fat isn't just sitting there. Fat tissue, especially around the gut, can convert testosterone into estrogen through an enzyme process. So it becomes a loop. Low testosterone makes it easier to gain fat, and that fat helps push testosterone even lower. Round and round it goes, and most men have no idea it started at the breakfast table. There's a second piece to the breakfast mistake that almost nobody talks about, and it's cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. In the morning, your cortisol is naturally at its highest. That's normal. That's what's supposed to wake you up and get you moving. But when you pour a load of fast sugar on top of an already elevated morning, then crash an hour or two later, your body treats that crash as a small emergency and leans on cortisol and adrenaline to haul your blood sugar back up. And here's the thing about cortisol and testosterone. They tend to move like a seesaw. When cortisol is chronically up, testosterone tends to be pushed down. They're built from related raw materials, and when your body is stuck in a low-grade stress state all morning, it is not in the business of building you up. It's in the business of just getting you through. So now think about what that sugary breakfast actually sets in motion. You eat it, you feel fine for about 45 minutes, then the energy drops out from under you. You get foggy, you get irritable, you start hunting for coffee or a snack to climb back up. That mid-morning crash you've been blaming on age or on bad sleep or on just getting older, for a lot of men, it's really just breakfast. And every time you ride that roller coaster, you're reinforcing the exact hormonal environment that works against your energy, your muscle, and your drive. Now let me tell you about a man. I'll call him Dave, because I've met 100 Daves. Dave's 51. Every morning for 20 years, he had a big bowl of healthy whole grain cereal with skim milk, a banana, and a large orange juice because he thought juice meant vitamins. By 10:30, he was wiped out, reaching for the second and third coffee, snapping at people on calls. He thought he needed more sleep. What he actually needed was a different first meal. He swapped that exact breakfast for eggs, and within a couple of weeks, the mid-morning crash was gone. The cravings backed off. And over a few months, the stubborn weight around his middle finally started to move. Nothing exotic, he just stopped starting his day by spiking his blood sugar. And if you want faster, longer-lasting results, I've put the exact natural support I recommend in the link below this video. So let's talk about the better option, because this is where it gets practical. The goal of a testosterone-friendly breakfast is simple. Keep blood sugar steady, give your body the real building blocks it needs, and skip the morning roller coaster entirely. That means leading with protein and healthy fat, and being smart about the carbs instead of letting them run the show. Start with whole eggs, not just the whites, the whole egg. For decades, men were scared off the yolk, but the yolk is where a lot of the value is. Eggs provide high-quality protein and cholesterol, and here's something most men never learned. Cholesterol is the raw material your body uses to actually produce testosterone. You can't build the hormone out of thin air. Eggs also deliver vitamin D and zinc, two nutrients that are directly involved in healthy testosterone production. Low zinc and low vitamin D are both linked with lower testosterone, and a couple of eggs in the morning is one of the easiest ways to support both. Then add more protein and fat to keep you full and stable. That could be a few strips of bacon if the quality is decent, or some smoked salmon, or a piece of steak left over from dinner. Yes, steak for breakfast is completely fine. Add half an avocado for healthy monounsaturated fat. Throw a handful of spinach into those eggs for magnesium, another mineral tied to testosterone and to better sleep. If you like dairy, full-fat Greek yogurt with a small handful of berries and some walnuts is another strong option. The fat and protein blunt the sugar, and the berries give you flavor and antioxidants without a flood. Notice what we're doing here. We're not starving you. We're not handing you a sad little plate. We're giving your body protein, fat, and key minerals first thing in the morning, so blood sugar stays level, insulin stays calm, cortisol isn't being yanked around, and your body has the actual ingredients it needs to make the hormones you want. That's the whole game. Steady instead of spiking. A few practical pointers so this actually sticks. First, watch the liquid sugar, because that's the sneakiest one. Orange juice, that sweetened coffee, the smoothie loaded with mango and honey, liquid sugar hits your bloodstream faster than almost anything you can chew, with none of the fiber to slow it down. If you do one thing tomorrow, drop the juice. Have water, black coffee, or coffee with a little cream instead. Second, if you genuinely can't imagine mornings without some carbohydrate, don't panic. Just put it in its place. Eat your protein and fat first, then have a smaller portion of a slower carb like oats or a piece of whole fruit at the end of the meal. Eating it in that order blunts the blood sugar spike. Third, if you're someone who isn't even hungry in the morning, you don't have to force a big meal. Some men do well simply pushing breakfast later and keeping it protein forward when they do eat. The enemy isn't the timing, the enemy is the sugar bomb. And let me be clear about expectations, because I never want to oversell. Changing your breakfast is not a magic switch. It won't fix everything by Friday, but it is one of the highest leverage, lowest effort changes a man over 40 can make, because you do it every single day. And small daily inputs compound into big results over months. Steady energy, fewer crashes, easier fat loss around the middle, better mood, and an internal environment that supports your testosterone instead of fighting it. That's not hype. That's just what happens when you stop sabotaging yourself before 9 in the morning. So here's what I want you to do. Tomorrow, run the experiment. Skip the cereal, skip the juice, and have 2 or 3 whole eggs with something green and something with healthy fat. Then pay attention at 10:30, at noon, at 2 in the afternoon. Notice the crash that doesn't come. Notice that you're not desperate for sugar. Give it 2 weeks and judge for yourself. And if you want the simplest way to take this further, the exact natural support I personally recommend to fill the nutritional gaps most men over 40 are walking around with. It's in the link below this video. Go check it out after you finish watching. You've got more control over how you feel than anyone ever told you, and a lot of it starts with the very first decision you make each day. Change the breakfast, and you change the trajectory. You're not too old, it's not too late, and your best, strongest years can absolutely still be ahead of you. Take care of yourself, start tomorrow morning, and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, this is general education, not medical advice. So talk with your own doctor before making changes, especially if you take medication or have a health condition.